just take it back to and go with that.
Bring the meeting to order. 1.1, are there any adjustments to the agenda, Ms. McCall?
The only thing I would say is, I don't think there's a need for 8.2 at this time.
Okay. 1.1, approval of the minutes. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. 1.3, approval of the warrants. They are being passed along. And then we'll move to 2.0, public comment. I have 2 on my list. Rachel Bourgeois is first.
Good evening. I feel fortunate to live in a community that values education and invests in our future. I cannot express how thankful I am that our community came together in support of our children. Reinstating the previously cut 6th grade classroom minimizes the impact of these difficult financial times on the 6th grade students' education and the teachers' ability to teach effectively. I am again respectfully and formally asking that we listen to the vote of the community and use the additional approved funds to hire a 4th, 6th grade educator and move forward with 4 teachers at each K through 8th grade level. I am so thankful that we can do what is best for the children of Caribou. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Second is Sarah Brown.
I would first like to thank everyone who voted yesterday in favor of the budget. That proved to me that our community is committed to supporting the education of our youth and the educators who do that hard work. Now I'd like to read a letter which will be submitted to the board for review as there are signatures attached. During the May 22nd meeting, the board had 2 opportunities to educate the audience of the stipulation that funds cannot be requested for a specific purpose. The first opportunity was following public comments, during which a statement was read explicitly indicating a motion would be made to reinstate the $90,000 for the 6th grade teaching position. The second opportunity was during discussion following the motion, within which it was stated again the intention of reinstating the funds for the 6th grade position. The board waited until the vote was finalized and the meeting was almost over to notify the audience that the funds would be used how the board chooses. The motion to reinstate the $90,000 was made and voted upon with the intention that the money be used to fund that much needed position at the 6th grade level. This position has been advocated for multiple times and has the backing of the community, as we saw at the May 22nd meeting and yesterday from the voters. This letter is a formal request asking the school board to consider the voices of those who voted yesterday at the May 22nd meeting and community members undersigned and reinstate the $90,000 for the 6th grade position. Thank you.
Yes. Seeing that is all, we will move to 3.0. Do we have anything under that item?
Nothing for 3.0.
So we will move to superintendent's report, 4.1.
For resignations, we have Liz McDonough, a grade 7 teacher at Caribou Community School, that she has resigned. And Rebecca Willie has resigned as the Caribou Performing Arts Center director.
Thank you. 4.2. Any retirements?
Nothing under 4.2 or 4.3.
4.4.
4.4, new hires. Josh Wimmer, as a science teacher at Caribou High School, I'd recommend him for the position. He has actually been a long-term substitute this year for Mr. Scoville for this year. But as you well know, we actually have had another vacant position, which we've been very fortunate to have. Mr. Steve Perrault has been helping out with that as well. But at this time, I'd recommend Josh Wimmer.
Do you need a vote for each separate? Is there a motion? Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
The second recommendation is Kim Jones for a special education teacher at Caribou High School. Kim actually is from Caribou and has lived away for a period of time and recently moved back to the area. And she has experience teaching special education at the middle and high school level. And as you're well aware, we've been all year actually without one of the special ed teachers at the high school level because we didn't have any candidates that were appropriate. So we're very pleased to be able to fill this position now. So my recommendation is Kim Jones.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. So we will move to 5.0. Is there anything there, Ms. McCall, that's not on the agenda?
No, I guess I'll just take this moment, if it's okay, just to congratulate. We've had quite a spring with our sporting events, lots of celebrations. So I believe today our Caribou High School girls tennis team won the state championship. So, and as a matter of fact, I think they're going to be arriving somewhere around 6 o'clock tonight. We have a motorcade kind of escorting them in. And last night, our boys won the Northern Maine Class B baseball championship, and they are heading to USM for the state championship game on Saturday at 4:30. So that's another thing to celebrate. Our Caribou High School boys tennis team are the Northern Maine Class B runner-ups. And we talked about the girls. And lastly, I would say that Evan Graves has been elected to be the PVC president for the 24-25 school year. So that's an honor, and I'm sure he will represent us well.
Yes, thank you. And I believe Tanya had mentioned before the meeting started that there is going to be a reception for the tennis team here at the gymnasium around 6:30. So if anyone wanted to stick around for that. We'll move to new business. 6.1. The board will consider approval of the computation and declaration of votes for the RSU39 2024-2025 budget validation. Is there a motion? Do I have to? So move
Yeah, you want me to just do so moved?
for that one, and then I'll let.
Or you need me to read all that stuff?
Okay.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. And then I'll do it properly for the rest of them. For 6.2, is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. 6.3. I'll read.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. 6.4.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. 6.5.
I move that the vote entitled "Vote to Authorize Issuance of a $900,000 Tax and Revenue Anticipation Note" be approved in form presented to this meeting, and that the secretary file an attested copy of said vote with the minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. That brings us to other matters. Tanya, anything? Jan? Bethany?
I'd like to mention that we are doing restructuring processes, and until we delve into those and actually determine the school and possibly class sizes, that we need to look at this use of the $90,000 as is in the policy. This was not a surprise. Doing your research, you can find that out. It was reminded, you can get a new moderator, but the group should have known that. We didn't just make that up at the time. So this was a difficult process for us to absorb because of the work that was done to save the teachers' jobs. And this empty chair, so to speak, I had my doubts as to the children being put in the forefront. rather than teachers being concerned about their own class sizes and the strain it would put on them. I also think it was kind of a jab to the other teachers in the school to figure that one class being eliminated would cause the whole place to fall apart. We wouldn't have any sort of growth with the children. We wouldn't have any sort of camaraderie among, or morale among the staff. I found that quite confusing. I think as we delve into the restructuring process, we will see whether this is warranted for that position. That's my opinion. I'm one person. But I was, as you know, disappointed because I wanted a 2.44 budget. It was decided that we did not lose the nurse. We did not, Jane gave up her assistant superintendent's position, which that's huge. And the other administrators took that on. So there's not just one or two people that would be taking on extra people or extra chores here. So supporting the children first is foremost, but also supporting your upper line is also foremost. And that means chain of command. That means letters should go through the superintendent. I think that we're the end decision here, but like I said, I'm a teacher. And when I found out that all those positions were saved and that we were advocating for an empty chair with a few more students for the 6th grade, it seemed very hard to take. We're putting the money back onto the hands of the people, some that are finding money to get their lunch, and some that don't drive cars like in the parking lots of the teachers. So it's very difficult to balance the needs of the taxpayers with the needs of the children and with the needs of the community's kids. We did have an opportunity to pay for that position when the teachers were allocated a 6% raise on the 3rd year. How they got that, I'll never know, but it happened. And it was, I think, a very fine gesture at the time. We asked for an opening of the contract in order to just take a couple of points off that so we could have that teacher's position. Nobody answered us. We didn't get any answer on that. And that's not working both ways. So when you're struggling to keep a budget under 2-point raise, that's still a lot. And it's 2 point that much more, 2.12 or whatever it was, that's still going to come out onto the taxpayers in a small community like Stockholm that is our partner. So it's not just about here. It's about all those people driving trucks that have ball tires and all those people that are spending thousands of dollars an hour on their tractors in the field just to run for 1 hour down an acre. So we have a big variety of income. We have to try to consider everybody. We have to try to consider the kids. I at one point had 24 kids in my class, but I didn't just have them for one class. I had it for each class. That was an extra, how many throughout the day? An extra 20. And over the course of a week, teaching a different class every period, it turned out to be an extra 100 kids. Nobody cared. And we still managed to do it, and we still managed to be fine. And these kids are now astronauts and whatever. So I think the morale is the most important thing. I think that these settle back deals are having an effect on the school. I believe that what happened here the other night was, let's just say, I don't think it represented the electorate. There was a group of people who were passionate. They came in, they represented a majority of who was here. The other folks that don't, they expected things to go fine, they didn't show up. So the vote was, let's just say, it wasn't skewed, it was just proactive for your cause, and that's okay, because that's not illegal. Is it unprofessional of teachers to not follow what has come up as the budget, what has come up as saving every teacher's job and not filling a chair? and maybe finding some ed techs or some special help for the teachers that might have a few extra kids in their class as a group of 3 grade levels. I know these people, I've worked with some of them. So I found that I was blindsided by that. I find that approaching the board with these types of, let's just call it kind of a group antic, I believe it's legal. Was it disrespectful? No, but it was hard to take. So, all that said, I would say the restructuring processes that we're gonna go through are gonna have all the kids in mind. They're running on a skeleton crew at the high school. We need a math teacher up there. And I'm gonna make a motion at this time to table the use of the amended additional budget funds that were allotted to the instruction teacher cost center until further notice, until we find out a good place for everybody to be, not just one isolated little place that people are focusing on. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman, for all that. I make a motion. Is anybody going to second? Or is it going to die right here?
I'm guessing you guys have to look at the budget again now that it's, because you had prepared a budget for that lesson.
Do you have to look at it anyway, or can the motion be made to keep the funds until such time as we consider our restructuring process and class sizes and school sizes?
The board has the authority to use that money however you so wish at this point in time. You can certainly make a motion, but at this point in time, you can commit it somewhere or you can choose to not commit it somewhere. So that's the right of the board with or without that
With or
motion.
without the motion, I withdraw the motion. Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Lou, do you have anything?
Just briefly, and I'd like to mention what Bethany stated. As a teacher, I was insulted. The more I thought about what had happened at the last meeting, I was insulted that anyone, especially teachers, would think that our educational system would be any less minus or unchair. And it offended me. And I would hope that no one would think that we as a board believe that our teachers can't survive without an extra teacher in the 6th grade. I think they'll do just fine. We've got a great staff, and I don't believe that it's going to make a huge difference. In fact, I'm offended that people would think it would make a huge difference. There are a lot of teachers out there, so that's just my aside. Thank you.
Ms. McCall?
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay, with that, is there, we move to executive session. Is there a motion for 8.1?
And I make a motion that we enter executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA 4056D for discussion of labor contracts and proposals and meetings between the board and negotiators.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? We move to executive session. Thank you.
I really